there, you gorgeous bastards. Welcome back. Glad you made it. It's another social production. We're doing it. Thank you for joining me on Friday, April the 14th, 2023. Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome back. It's another episode. We're doing it wherever you're tuning in from, whether it's here in Toronto, Canada, down south in the US, Mexico, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Antarctica, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, Australia, the islands, wherever you're tuning in from. Thank you. If it's your first time, buckle up, buckle down. Where can you find these videos? Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday on Instagram. Follow me there if you like. Subscribe on YouTube for the full-length videos. Check out patreon.com/RobSadri if you'd like to fiscally boost the show and see it grow before your eyes. But what do we do around here? We just have some fun. And it's Friday. It's the 14th, which means we're like halfway through the month. And I'm excited. Let me get a sip of this. Hold on a second, man. Hold on a second, slow down for a second. Because everything else is going to be sped up. Not really, but boys and girls, slow, medium, fast, doesn't matter which speed we try. No, it's not the speed of the... It's not the speed that matters, it's the distance traveled. It's the... Take a friggin' second just to enjoy the scenery is what I'm trying to say, baby boys, baby girls. Welcome back again. You know, today's gonna be an extra loose day. It's gonna be an extra loose day because I feel loose. Because I feel, you know what, let's just go ahead and unbutton an extra button. It's already been unbuttoned enough, but because I'm feeling loose. Feeling excited to be amongst the crew once again. Mi familia. Our familia. I don't know what is ours in Spanish. I could look it up, but I'm too lazy. And we don't do that around here, man. We don't look into things here. This isn't where you come for the, you know, some do call this the fax machine, because we just keep on taking phone calls and passing out information of sorts on paper. How do fax machines work? Fuck that too. Let's not focus on fax machines. Regardless, it's what it is that it's Friday. It's Friday, and I'm excited to be alive and kicking. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're getting excited for it. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous outside. Weather's just looking fine and dandy. I'm super excited. Just the changes, like weather. It's got so much to do with your here in the East Coast and Canada, where you got the, you know, you have 6 months of solid, like we're looking at solid grayed out atmosphere. Everything's grayed out. You get a little bit of snow, you get a little bit of sun and clouds here and there, but everything, but as soon as the sun comes out, it's just like, oh man, it's time to give, let's start life again, you know, because that's what it is. Life goes on a little nappy poo. It just takes a little break here, and then, but I like that because it slows down, and then boom, there we go, snap of a finger, Mother Nature's like, it's on again. It is on, baby. I'm feeling excited. And I don't know where it's gonna go today, to be very honest with you, because today's gonna be an extra loose day, as I promised. But I guess let's start with this. Let's just see where it goes. We're gonna talk about leaky things, things that leak, because you've been hearing that leaky. Oh man, all you hear, and all I've been hearing too. But I didn't know what's leak. I don't even know what a leakage is. But let's get to the bottom of this. Let's try to find out what it is that we're all talking about, or trying to talk about. One of the things that we're trying to talk about, amongst other things that we always talk about. There's so many things that we talk about, but leaky things. What is a leakage? What is a leakage? A leakage is when, you know, in order for something to leak, first of all, you need it to be leakable. It needs to be liquid form. If it's gonna leak, but then again, gases do leak too. You have, okay, it could be solid, because you could have solid things leaking, like you could have things that are made of liquids leak, gas leaks. Okay, nice. And let's go through examples of different things that leak and whether or not we're in. I guess today's discussion is, I guess, now that we're knee deep in it, do we like things that leak? Do we like leaky things? You know, a lot of people, well, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you gals think. Are we a fan of things that leak? What are some examples of things that a hose be leaking? Hose be leaking. Hoses, plural. I'm talking about you're watering the garden. You're out there, you got the hose linked up to the old water thing, pipe, station, installed on your place of residence at your home. You got a little whatevs. It's attachable. You could, you grab a hose and you attach it to the water pipe. I'm gonna call it water pipe. Is that what it's called? The water pipe? Sounds right. Water pipe. Water. It's not a station. You could, anything could be a station. Like, so that's, it's a water pipe. You attach your hose, and boom, there you go. You can turn it on and you can turn it off, and you can, again, garden the hell out of that garden, baby. Just water it on and on. Do you overwater? Do you who knows, this wild game of just hose and waters. And sometimes, when you're finished, you go ahead and you turn on the water, and you're done, you turn it off, and you put the hose to the side. You're like, enough of these, enough of that, enough of this, whatever that is. You're like, nah, I had enough of you for a second. You're like, I'm done with this. And you set it aside, you turn off the water, but then you come back and there's a little puddle on the ground. You've already turned off the water. How'd the puddle even get there, man? Ladies, gents, is this a case of leaky pipes? Are the pipes leaky? And it's natural, because as soon as you turn on the water, there's still, it takes time, because, sometimes water be traveling through hose, and then the second you turn it, it takes some time for there's some water backed up. So even though you've turned off but that's on you, fam. You know what you got yourself into. If we're dealing with wetness, if we're trying to contain moisture, if we're trying to be like, I'm gonna try to control H2O, good luck, fam. Good luck trying to control H2O. Almost everything is got a little bit of H2O. So that shit just leaks. It's up in the atmosphere. It's just like, oh, I wanna just be like in a cloud right now. You never know when I'm gonna just drip on your ass. That's what the clouds will say. That you can't control moisture, but that's what you put it in a pipe, put it in a tube, put it in the hose, work on the valve. But at the end of the day, there's gonna be some water that's gonna be leaking. Now it's up to you how you handle that situation. Do you walk up to the puddle and be like, oh man, what a, do you let it ruin it because you're like, man, I wanted this garden to be wet, but I didn't want the pavement around it to be wet, fam, because I wanted a neat and clean job. And you're like, nobody cares, but stills, you're maybe a little bit OCD, and I don't blame you. You like things to be neat and organized. Fine, I get that. What are you gonna do though? But is it even water? Is it even water? It could be a puddle of water, or it could be a liquid blob that's been recently worked on or invented to work as like spy equipment, and it's just like you're looking at, it's a puddle, it looks like a puddle of whatevs, and it's just like, oh, is this a regular puddle? It could be a regular puddle, or it could be collecting data and then just like seeping through, nooks and crannies and little cracks here and there and just disappearing. Grab some. I saw this little clip, not to get sidetracked, but sometimes we do that around here. Sometimes we do get sidetracked. That was pretty dope. I don't know, it's this like liquid blob slime thing that it's been invented, and it moves, and it's, I don't know if it's alive, but it can do things like, again, go through, random spots. It could just like fit into anywhere, and that's, it could be used for different things. It could be used in the data collection world, or it could be used in the medical world, where you're like, man, we want this medicine to be delivered, and then you give it to this little slime, this little puddle of whatever it is, and then it'll just be like, all right, give me the directions. You're like, a little bit east, a little bit north, a little bit south, a little bit west, couple of rights, couple of lefts, couple of ups, couple of downs, couple of loop-de-loops, and it'll go and, deposit the medicine, need be, if that's what the task is, and then it'll just like seep out, which is nice, dude, because like Is it a catheter that they put through your urethra? If it's like something urethra related, I'd much rather have no catheter and a little slimy fucking robot. I think it's a robot. It's a slime robot. It's a robot is what it is. It's weird, man. It is. It's out there. It's a thing. But anyway, anywhere, anytime, anyhow. Let's not get too sidetracked. We were talking about things that, yeah, sometimes the hose be leaking and you're like, oh man, well, what is this? What is this mess? What is this mess? All right, eyes up here, eyes up here, eyes up here, here. Good, good. Let there be no distractions. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, other things do leak too. Things that do leak, you know, and that's objects that leak. Other things that leak, we tend to leak a little bit. I'm a little bit of a leaker myself. You're probably a little bit of a leaker too, as a person. If you got a vag on you, if you got a, you know, if you're working with that peen, guess what? It leaks, don't it? It's not been, you know, that's what it is. Whether on demand or off demand, whether you're like leaking with intent, let's say it's a friggin' leaking event, you've signed up for, you know, it's a recreational leaking league where you show up and it's a low-key competition, you know, just to, you know, it's a little bit of a social gathering, but also works on your like team building skills, and it's a well-rounded, overall wholesome adventure. It's what it is. It's a leaking league, and you get in there and you get into teams and you're like, oh, who can leak the fastest, who can leak the most, who can leak the strongest, who can leak the furthest leaks, you know? Is there a lady or a fellow who will just be like standing still leaking 20 feet? I don't know, maybe you'll find out once you show up. Sign up. Instead of saying, oh no, I'm not gonna, you step out of your comfort zone, step into a league that you're like, oh, I didn't think this was for me, until you found it. Guess what? You're built for that shit. You're built with, you wouldn't have known until you tried it. So there, your vaginas leak, your penises leak, and do you get mad at that? Because again, what are you trying to hold back? You're trying to plug that nature or moisture that's trapped inside your butt. Guess what, fam? I hate to break it to you. Hate to, you know, is Santa even real? You know, it's one of those talks right here. Guess what you're holding in your body, man? A ton of moisture. Think about that for a second. And it leaks. Do you get upset? Okay? You're in the middle of a meeting with a bunch of other grown-ups, with a bunch of other adults in the room. It's a serious meeting. There's suits, there are ties, there are friggin' skirts, knee-high skirts. I'm talking classy high heels, ladies with hairs up in a bun or something. Yeah, it's a serious, we're having it's midweek and we gotta friggin' figure out what this company's all about, man. We gotta go back to the basic of this. Like, you know, we gotta find our, what was it that got us started is what it, and we need to focus on that to build whatever it is that we're building in this company. And that's what it is. You happen to leak midday. Oh, sorry guys, leak. And what happens? Do people get upset? No. Everybody's like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine, Dan. That's fine, Dan. You're leaking midday. It could happen to anybody. The whole meeting room is now, the whole conference room is covered in maybe an inch of your urine. You had a lot of water. Now, I don't know what's going on with you, but you've covered the entire room in an inch of a mixture of water and other stuff that's been sitting in your body. And what is it? It's just fun, is what it is. And it reminds us that, man, we can all be doing the work, but also like, I remember when you just went outside as a kid and just jumped in puddles for the fuck of it, and then guess what? Everybody's just jumping in your puddle of, you know, it would have been nice if it was just water, because like it's just easier for, but whatever. You know, don't be like, oh, free puddle, I'm not gonna. It's a free puddle, enjoy. So that's what it is. Do we leak? Do our bodies leak? Yes. Do we get mad or upset? No. Depends. It really is. Sometimes maybe yes. I don't know. I'm sure there are situations where if somebody, you know, you catch somebody leaking somewhere, you're like, oh man, don't be leaking. You get upset. But it's something that we all do. So, and yes, it is a lot a lot is reliant on, setting, context, and I get that. Fine. But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, things do leak. Other things that leak, gases, as we've mentioned before, gases. Do you happen to be an owner of? Do you own a rectum? Do you, do you got a little? You got a little. You know what I'm talking about. You got yourself that bottom whistle, you know? Toot 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 toot, baby. That's what it is. So everybody farts, and that's just like, do we get upset when people? No, no. Of course, like, is it convenient for who? Is it convenient for me if I'm? Yes, of course. Of course, if I let one rip, it's mad convenient for me. Probably not more convenient for other, but still, like, do we get upset? No, because we all know that things that are, again, we're trying to hold on to things that we're not supposed to hold on to. It's not mine. This isn't mine. This isn't. It's what it is that it's a body, and it holds stuff in it for a limited time only, and that's the best I can do. So if it leaks, it leaks, baby. That's why. And if it happens to be you that you just leaked, I'm not gonna be like, I'll give you your flowers, dude. I'll let you know that, I'll give it a nice little fucking clap, and I'll make sure to be like, it's this lady, everybody. I'll point it because I want to get you the recognition that you deserve and want, or whatever it is that you're looking for. But other than that, I'm gonna be like, hey, everybody, can we all cool it here? Can we all just acknowledge the fact that Nancy just let one rip right here, right now, and let's all be chill ever. Just because she farted in the middle of the room doesn't mean that we all have to stop doing whatever it is that we're doing and focusing on Nancy over here. It could have been anybody, man. It could have been you. It could have been your mother. It could have been your grandma. Nancy's your grandma. Think about, or whatevs. You're not even related, but that's what it is, man. We're all connected in a sense. So, like, do you feel for Nancy, or do you want to be like, Nancy, I don't want to, or do you go like, I don't know, man. There's a time and a place to let one rip, and it's like, oh, you're walking around with perfect control of your bowel movements there, fella. Yeah, you keep it all tight in there. Nothing ever slick. Good on ya. Good for you, everybody. God, this guy and his great friggin' bowel control. It's like, oh, I only fart in the bathroom. I've never. It's like, get a life or something. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, things do leak. So whether you're a male or a female, and you happen to fart, that's something that leaks. Things leak. Other things that vaginas do leak again, but in a different, more so than, and that's a popular one. Vaginas bleed. That's another sort of leak. Do we get mad at ladies for leaking from their vaginas? You know what I mean? And is it convenient? It's, as a dude, not really. But guess what? We love it. We love the fact that, like, I would, if I could provide options, I'd be like, I don't know, the thing with periods is that it leaks, but it leaks once a month, which is like, if there was an option of you being able to, like, leak it all at once, just like sit there for, I don't know how long it'll take, but a lifetime until you hit menopause. Just leak it all out, and, like, I don't know how long would it take to leak out the entire lifetime worth of period juice? A month? 2 years? I don't know. Do the math. But, like, if that was an option, maybe some would opt for it. I don't know. But nonetheless, regardless of how frequent or how heavy your flow is, leaks, nobody gets upset. Of course, we encourage it. Bleed out your vaginas. We applaud it. We actually don't. Maybe we should. I don't know. Just putting ideas on the table here. Here's the table. Right here's the table. Ideas on it. Who's around the table? We are together looking at ideas. What is this? Ideas on the table. That's fantastic. So overall, all this up until now, everything's been very positive. Everything's been like, oh, we see a leak, we like a leak. If it leaks, we like it. What other things leak? Should you get an infection? Should you get a disgusting infection because you're rolling around in disgusting places, doing disgusting things that are just unmentionable and undesirable by most people, but you're in it, and it's a niche little thing you got yourself involved in. You've made a name in the game. Now it's and sometimes it comes with territories where you might end up with, you're doing whatever. You're ending up there with a bad cut of sorts, and it gets infected with, because that's what the job entails, man. You know what it is. You know what you got yourself into in the beginning when you signed up for this shit. You know what I'm talking about? So now you got a nice infection. Guess what? Some time goes by, you start leaking, oozing, pussing around some nice germs, bacteria, viruses, friggin' all the juices. They're coming, and guess what? And that's one where you're like, man, that's not a pleasant leak. It is and it isn't. Are you happy that you got an infection, that you got some moldy, rotten thing growing because you were like, I got to do this thing? What was the activity? Maybe there's a walk on rusty nails activity, and it's a niche little market. Not a lot of people do it. You found out through doing a little bit of just trekking some trails in some random part of the world, and that's what they do, man. Rusty nails, eat it, walk on it, bathe with it, start a family on top of a hill covered in rusty nails, because that's what it is, and then compete in rusty nail activities such as chucking the rusty nail, catching the rusty nail, etching into things with a rusty nail, cooking with rusty nail, and that's what it is. You got infected, and now you're oozing and pussing everywhere. It's disgusting. But at the same rate, again, that's not your focus. Your focus is to just be like, I'm gonna be one with rusty nails and metal objects. Let's just throw that in there as well. Why not? And you're just prone to catching cuts and bruises. But whatevs, man. That's what it is. And again, you knew what you were getting yourself into. The point is, you're not happy about it. But at the same rate, you don't want to be not leaking, because if it stays in your body, the bacteria, the virus, the infection, if it stays in your body, you're gonna die, man. That thing's gonna, if you're not gonna die, at least you're gonna lose an arm or a leg. Do you want to be amputated right here, right now? Do you want to be amputated? No, of course not. Unless you're into like amputations, like again, which is, I don't know who's like, I'm not opposed to amputations, need be. But if we can avoid it altogether, that's, I think we can all agree, unless there's something that I don't know where it's like, oh, you should try amputations, which I don't know why anybody would, but there's probably somebody out there that's like, man, there's 8 billion of us out there. I don't know, maybe there is somebody out there who's really into like, oh, one day I'm gonna, whatever. Point is, you're happy about that leak, because at the end of the day, you took your antibiotics, and guess what? All that nasty it's coming out of you, son. It's coming out of you, lady. But you're happy about it, because it's like, Lee, you wouldn't want that to be trapped in there. You'd be like, oh, this is not good for my body. This is not good for the overall. You're turning all sorts of colors. You started off with, let's say, a regular color, but you've gone through natural human colors. You're grayed out. You know what I'm talking about? You look a little bit pale blue, grayed out. Nobody's supposed to look like that. But you'll 2-3 days of leakage, and all that venom's at your body. You're back to your regular self, feeling all great. So there you go. Again, once again, in support of things that leak. So I guess overall, we're getting a sense that do things leak? Are things leakable? Of course. Should we like things to be leaked? If that's what it is. I don't know, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. But I guess this is all stemming from a situation that's been going on for some time now. And I haven't got a chance to look too deep into it. And sometimes I like it that way, because I just like to skim over it, be like, what is it? I don't really know, and then boom, we go for it, see where it takes us. So apparently there's been some leaky documents that's been leaked from the Pentagon or something, and it's been leaked. There's been some documents. It's apparently classified, top secret classified documents, apparently. I've yet to hear what the actual things that are like, yes, you know? Do I like things being leaked? Here's the thing. I have to, do we like things that leak? Man, again, bodily functions that are just like there, yes, I love it when it leaks because it's like, yes, we're all human, it makes sense. If somebody didn't leak at all, if you walk around not farting or leaking from your genitals at one point, you're a little bit sus, fam. What's going on there? You know what I mean? Because it's like, we're all in this together. So information apparently has been leaked, but it's not even about the info. I don't even know what's been leaked, to be honest with you. I don't know. Some pages were leaked. Apparently, it's comes from a 21-year-old kid, and I don't know his name. It doesn't matter. Like, it does matter, like, to him, of course, and like, not that his name doesn't matter, but his name is like, it's not. The thing is, I could look it up right now with my phone, but I'm not gonna, because that'll just be like, oh, we're, no phones. No, can you just put your phone down for a second, man? We're just having a conversation here, just shooting shit right here, fam. We're just, you don't need to reach for because I gotta know the name. You know what I mean? You're not gonna remember that name. You might remember that name. I don't know what he's gonna go up to. Like, he's only 21. That's the thing. So that's what I know. He's a 21-year-old, and I don't know. Here's the thing. When I heard or read a little bit about it, there's different ways of like, because that's what it is. When you hear somebody doing something at a certain age, different people have different perspectives of like, and I don't know how I feel about it at the end of the day, but I'm trying to figure out how I feel about it. And it's like, you hear somebody doing something at 21 and it's a dude, in this case at least. How do you refer to them? Do you refer to them? And it is, technically speaking, they're an adult. Technically speaking, 21 years old, full, legally in terms of like what we deem in society, that's 21, adult. You can drink, you can drive, you can vote, you can be in the army. I believe he is in some sort of, he's a guardsman of sorts. He does, he's doing whatever. He's in the guards. I don't know, he's in the army. He's a guy. He's a guy in the army, of a branch of the army. It's got different branches. It's a lush tree, this tree of the army military. It's complex, man. Point is, ladies and gentlemen, it is 21. Sometimes you'll be like, yes, 21-year-old, and you'll hear the wording after, be like, you're like, oh man, how do you look at a person and be like, this is because words have like, you attach something, 21-year-old male suspect, that'd be like, oh man, this guy's like, or be like 21-year-old, some people might be like, that's a 21-year-old, young man. Some might even refer to him as like, even I bet you is like, 21, because I remember me being 21, man. Technically adult. 21, me, adult, just like everybody else out there, but was I an adult at 21? Technically speaking, yes. Did I have all my, it doesn't go from like, you don't turn like, it's gradual development. And yes, technically speaking, the age is there too, because at one point or another, you do need a definite. And I'm glad that I believe like, it's like, okay, at a certain age, we've come to realize like, okay, childhood ends, teenagehood ends, you're now transitioning into, adult. You're a young adult, but that's at 21 though. You are 21. Me at 21, man, I am dumb now, but Jesus Christ, was I dumb when I was 21. Holy smokes, dude. 21, this guy. Whoa. So, so when I hear somebody doing something 21, honestly, like there's a lot of even though I don't even know the story, initially I'm just like 21 did whatever, as long if you haven't there's certain clear-cut things where we're like, okay, it doesn't even matter what age you are. If you go out there and like hurt somebody, kill somebody in that sense, then yes, you're like, and you're 21, then like, there's going to be some repercussions and consequences and whatnot. But like anything else in terms of just like a 21-year-old being out there in the world navigating things, and this kid's see, there I go again, even subconscious, I just like 21 is like, you say this kid because it's feels like just They just became an adult. They're just adulting. So it's yeah, I don't know how to go about that. But here's the thing: he works in the army. He works at I believe he's a guardsman of sorts. I don't even know what that means. And apparently, he leaked some information. 21 years old. You know, I don't even know what the information is. They say top secret. You know, potentially damaging is what they say. I don't know what, like, but that's the thing. It's like, and we'll get into all sorts of aspects of it as much as we can, try to figure it out all together, because this is fun. This is fun. It's Friday. It's Friday silliness, fun times, and things do be leaking sometimes. But 21 years old, forget this kid for a second. If I were 21, and I was, believe it or not, I was once 21. But if I had some knowledge of something that is like juicy and it's exciting, I'm gonna share with a few people. 21, I'll share. And the more secret it is, the juicier it is, especially when you're 21. It's like, and it doesn't, that's me thinking of how I would have, I don't even know what I could have found out, whatever, at 21 and be like, oh my God, other people don't know this, or like, let me just at least, I would definitely, if I found out some information that was just like juicy, and was like, man, we shouldn't know this, guess what we're gonna know? All of this, because apparently it's like top, because that's what it is. You're 21, you're like top secret, juicy information. Me as a full-grown adult, not a full-grown, because I got plenty of decades to still growing adult, but not like I'm whatever, and I'm like I get excited about juicy stuff when it's like fucking top secret, mid-level secret, bottom secret. I'm just because it's information is what it is. It's information is what it is. So this kid apparently leaked some info, is what it is. Where'd he get it from? Where? A lot of people like to focus on all the other things, like, and we probably should. And we will. Like, why? Like, how? Like, when? Like, who? The kid. The guy. We did it again, didn't we? Call him a kid again. 21, the young adult. The young male. M-A-I-L. Male. You've got mail. Mail. Sorry. Boys and girls, point is, where did he get it from? Where did he get it from? Because how do you, if it's like top secret information, how do you just like, you're 21, I'm guessing you're in the early stages of your career, wherever you're situated, you're guarding something, you're out there working with whatever, or you're in there working with whatever, I don't know what you do. But you're 21, you can't be like, if it's like, and that's the thing, if something is like classified top secret, why would a 21-year-old have access to that? Somebody who I would assume is relatively new in the game of whatever realm of business he's trying to get into, which, serving his country for one. He's trying to serve his country. Okay, so that's admirable. At 21, I would have, now that I look back at it, and it's always, 2020, when you look at it in hindsight, I might have been like, you know what, actually, I didn't think this when I was younger, but now I kind of be like, man, if it would have been kind of dope to serve. Just a couple of years in the army, just be like, do things, learn a couple of whatever it is that they learn, and there's a lot to learn. It would have been, again, but it's long gone. That's not gone, and that's the thing. We don't look in the past, baby. For a brief second, we do, just to provide an example. But aside that, we move on, because this right here is 2023 moving forward, baby. Only the present and the near future. Further than that, it's just like, whoa, we're never gonna be able to figure that out, and we don't need to. So let's focus on this right here, right now. The point is, 21-year-old me, I would have, if I found some info, I would have leaked whatever it was. From just, it could have been stupid shit too. It could have been like, and it not even in that scenario, not even related to army or military. It could have been really any secret. Any secret, whatever. I would have blabbed, I would have talked about it. I would have been like, oh, what do you guys think of this thing? So my question is, first of all, if it's top secret, then why is he, how did he get it? Who gave it to him? Did he do it all by himself? And even if he did do it by himself, if he did, are we? If here's the thing, I guess the bigger question here is, there's information that's related to, I guess there's, because there's worlds that we live in simultaneously, all of us. There's like there's the average person's private citizen's life. You're living your private life. You are also engaging in the public sphere. So there's a mixture of the private and the public. And then there's domains and worlds where it's like specifically for particular groups of people, where it's like, oh, this group is going to be, we're a tight-knit group. I'm a tight-knit group right here. And we're going to get some people and whatever. It could be an organization, it could be a company, it could be the military, it could be policing, it could be whatever. It could be a private company. And they have all sorts of employees, and they gather all the data, and they have all the information, and they have a product or a service that they provide to the public. And that's the way shit goes, round and round. It's the nature of things. Normally, that's what we expect it. It's pretty tight. But the point is, I don't even know what the point is. I don't even know what we've been talking about. Private, public, things being private and public. So that's the thing. There's information that's like that you and I have access to, which is like, it's in the public domain. A few things we all know. We can all be like, yes, this thing we all know. This thing, relatively speaking, all of us have. It's clear. At least we're aware of this thing, whatever the thing is. We're like, the public knows this thing. The public knows this thing. It's that thing that the public knows, and whatever it is, we knows it. Whatever it is. Limited, but whatever it is, we knows that as the public. And then there's things that are like, entities come in for protection. Or, that was their initial intent. We're going to have, countries, nation states, we have armies, we have security forces, intelligence services, policing, and here's the trick. This is the tricky part. This is the tricky part for me because I, for one, am a fan of. I'm a big time, love that freedom, dude. Ladies, freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of whatever, freedom to do whatever it is that you want to, and freedom to have access to information is also a part of that fine little dance we do. But that's the thing. Sometimes the government will walk in and like step in and be like, well, certain things you can have access to, but other things we're going to have to keep it hush hush. We're going to have to keep it classified, top secret, and they'll give you a reason or two. Mainly when it comes down to one or two, and mainly is, oh, we cannot disclose this particular information or these informations because of safety concerns. And that's where it gets tricky, dude. Ladies, because that's what it is. For my betterment, for my overall well-being, somebody else gets to decide that in order for you and everybody else to be A-okay out there, you're not supposed to know certain things. Because it's classified. Do your thing they normally do on a 9-to-5 basis or 24/7, 7 days a week basis, 365 a year, 180 degree all the way, do it all, but and that's what you do, and you're exposed to the world that you're exposed to and get in a routine, and with, from cradle to grave, you set out for the most part to do certain things. You get to learn how to do tasks, this, that, and the other, and you find yourself a nice little path, and you'll get to this, you get to see things and experience, but overall there's going to be information that you have access to, and then there's going to be this mysterious, cool information that exists, that is, if you're going to want to know it, you're going to have to be a part of an organization that knows it. And even then, you might not even get exposed to all the information that's in there, because there's levels to this shit. Just because there's levels to we fucking loves levels. The human species loves the levels, fam. If anything, fucking there's levels to this shit, son. We love steps, dude. When put a friggin' block of cement and then put 2 blocks of cement right next to that, and then put 3 blocks of cement right now, and then you start getting, and then we start loving it. We love the steps, baby. We love steps. And we love hierarchy. It does have its benefits. But at the same rate, it's not perfect. I'll tell you that, fam. We're not reaching for perfection here. Not even close, dude. Not even close. But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, that's the thing. It gets tricky because it's like, so then there becomes this like magical, you know, there becomes a role in society where it's like a designated individuals or groups or entities that become society's, you know, papi. They become daddy, if you will. They're like, you know, you do your regular thing that you're supposed to do. Don't ask too many questions. And just, you know, just do your thing. And then the rest of it will take care of it. It reminds me, and I was trying to think of like, why does this feel so, it's not the first time that this sort of thing has happened. I'm like, why does this feel like we've experienced different forms of it? And then I remember, I'm like, Julian Assange, Edward Snowden. And also, more importantly, I'm like, it's very similar in vibes to those scenarios. But also, it did also leave like a little, I'm like, no, this goes a little, what does this feel like though? What does this feel, forget like these individuals, don't forget these individuals, don't forget these, focus, for a second, just let's put that aside because I was just trying to focus on like, what else does this scenario feel like? And I felt like Diane Keaton going up to Al Pacino asking him about his business and The Godfather, and then Al Pacino's like, don't ask me about my business. And then he's like, okay, fine, this one time you can ask me for my business. And then she's like, did you kill him? And then he's like, nah. And then she's like, okay, all right. And then she walks out, and then serious men with serious faces go up to the Don and kiss the hand, lick the hand, bow to the hand. And then the door closes, and then Diane Keaton's like, somehow I don't feel like he's telling me the truth. It feels a little bit like that. I feel like Diane Keaton right now in The Godfather, essentially. I'm like, you know, that's how I feel like sometimes our relationship, and that's what it is. You got to ask yourself, which character are you right now in the, I don't want to be, like, I love Diane Keaton, but I'd like to be in the position of Diane Keaton after she was in the know. You know what I'm talking about? Because it's like, it's no fun to be like in the thing. It's no different than like when you're a kid or something, and then there's adults in the room, and all of a sudden, like, you know, there's like adult talk. So you got to be like, but at a certain point, it's like we're all adults. We're like, if there's adult conversation, then like let's fucking, you know, let's crappa. Oh man, did I just say crappa? Fuck, dude, I was gonna say crack open a bottle of whatevs, but I said crappa, and there's no coming back from that. Oh no. Boo. Crap a bottle of wine. I mean, if you could crap a bottle of wine, it'd be pretty convenient, dude, not gonna lie. But crack open a bottle of wine. That's what I wanted to say later, because we're all, at the end of the day, adults. Adults. Point is, I don't want to be Diane Keaton prior to her having knowledge of what's going on. You know what? Or ideally, I'd like to be involved in I think that's how all of us would like, if we're going to be in this thing called a large family. But then it's tricky, son, because it's tricky, fam, because it's tricky. And then, see, within a domestic context, information domestically, it would make sense that we would all share things domestically. But then there are things that are, you know, over there, and it's not domestic, and we gotta. So that's where I'm like having a moment of like a little bit of cognitive dissonance here, because I'm like, release all the information. So right, just all the information's free, but then people who are, you know, a little bit more experienced in life and have maybe done certain things that I've certainly not done will come in and be like, son, just be happy to be alive and doing whatever it is that you're doing. You don't even know half the thing. I'm like, yes, exactly. I don't even know half the things, or even like 5% of the things that go up, please. And then they're like, no, you wouldn't want to know. I'm like, but I do. I'm telling you, I do. I really do want to know. And everything. I'd love to know. But I get it, because then you're like, because then that guy's like, you see, if it was just us, if we were just on like a separate, if there was just one nation state, one island state, no other countries, you'd be like, okay, you know what? This is the, but then we might, ideally, but then it's gonna be this, it's a hard task, but we'll get there one step at a time, I think, anyway, because with all this tech and innovation of information, just, that's a whole, we're trying to figure it out together. The point, because that's what it is. Once, if it was just an island or a country by itself and no other countries or islands existed, you would have been like, okay, this is all the facts and all the info that we have. Let's try to work on this together and see where we're going and build and make things better. That being said, because we have nation states and then other nation states who are at times, although cooperating, sometimes be competing too, because that's in our nature as well. We do the competing. We love steps in competitions, fam. If you can get just a bunch of steps in a couple of competitions going on, yeah, the human race will be just fucking stepping and competing. The point is, so there's somebody who comes in who's, you know, a little bit, you know, with a crew cut maybe, and like, you know, and they're good people. They're good people. It's not like, and that's where my, you know, that's where the adult thing is coming in, dude. Because when you're younger, you're like, man, you know, I get it. I get both sides of it. So, but but I can't have, but that's not still, I like all the information I can get, all of it, as much of it as possible, because I'm a curious mofo, and a lot of people are, and it feels like at the end of the day, there's definitely examples every now and again that happen that are reminders. It's not even about what got leaked, but it's more of a reminder, because somebody gets to become a scapegoat. Somebody gets to become a face every once in a while, that should you or me or anybody for that matter ask enough questions or particular questions, or even say something in a particular way that doesn't sit well with a particular group, there's going to be consequences. Whether, again, it was the Julian Assange case or the Edward Snowden case, or now this young man's case right now. And that's the thing. It's you know, how do we look at them? Do we look at them as whistleblowers, people who are like, man, I found this information, and again, to varying degrees, all different cases. Those two previous cases, you know, more mature men. They were older with, you know, more experience in life. In general, this is a younger dude. And again, I don't even know anything about nothing, but I'm just saying that it is a thing to be, how about we crap a bottle of wine? Let's do that again. Point is, ladies and gents, do you look at them as whistleblowers? Do you look at that fella on the street or lady on the street like, that's a whistleblower right there? If I see one, I know one. If I know when I see one. You know what they say about whistleblowers. You know, lips together, just blowing. Whistleblowing do we look at it as a whistleblower, and do we like whistleblowers? Because they're the people who are like, man, I want to go out there and be like, yo, you should all know something. This is going on, whatever it is, and we should all know. It's not fair that one group knows and the other, you know, most people don't know. And then, or do we look at them as be like, oh, this guy's or this lady's and then stick all sorts of labels on them, which is like, you know, it's you know, and I'm not saying that they don't exist. You know, you could be like, oh, that person's a this or that. It could be like that. So that guy's a spy. That guy's he's a traitor. That guy's and I'm not. And that's the world we live in. Are there spies? Of course. Are there traitors? Of course. Again, we don't live in a world where we can freely just exchange it. But then again, at the same, we're like, we can't exchange information, but at the same rate, we are stepping towards the age of more AI, more language learning models coming up there with, you know, all sorts of automation and robotics and artificial intelligence, and all this is just going to be giving us more access to information, but it seems like there's always, it seems like there's already a lot of transparency when it comes to our information and our overall state of being in relation to governments and corporations. So the governments and corporations, generally speaking, have a lot of access to a lot of information and about you and me, what we like, what we don't like, through all the times that we're spending on the internet, searching for this, searching for that, using our credit card, shopping for this, shopping for that, making phone calls, texts. All this information is there, accumulated throughout the years, and companies and governments have access to all these sorts of information, you know? At the same rate, when the public wants to have access to information, all of a sudden it's like, whoa, what are you talking about? This is classified. This is government official classified documents. You're not supposed to look at this. So there's this now, you know, there's a double standard of issues of privacy. Of, you know, if we all had the same level of privacy, then that's maybe providing a place for an argument where, like, okay, certain things need to be, but like that, we are stepping more and more so into the age of, I personally don't really think there is much privacy. There's a little bit of privacy left still. I don't know how it's going to evolve or what it's going to evolve to. I would assume there's just going to be, you know, there's just going to be probably more access to more information. But so that's it's a tricky little situation. I just don't want to, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I was just like, today, go talk about leaky things and things that leak and documents that leak. Is it an issue? I think it's not so much about what information got leaked, because the information is there, and this isn't going to be the first time or the last time that information has been leaked. You know, at the end of the day, I wish we could all like work together, because like, what information don't we want out there? I guess sensitive, but what is even sensitive information? Like, we're working on, countries be like, oh, we're working on, like, you know, military equipment, and then we better not let these guys know that we're working on military equipment. And then those same guys, many of them out there, are like, oh, we too are working on military equipment. We better not let those guys know that we're working on our military equipment. So, you know, and it's like, oh, we got to have a designated area to work on this project. And then the other guys are, so we all trying to, like, if there is secret information, which there are obviously, but like, it's all the same. Like we, and it's just like, okay, fine. You don't want to know the deets. I don't maybe need to know I don't need to know but if I could, I would love to know. I would love to know. And last year, or the years before, a couple of years, as of late, they would come out and say all this talk about the UFOs and whatnot and the UAPs, and we were supposed to, and we still are, I believe, supposed to get more information. They said this spring, this summer, in regards to UFOs or UAPs, but that's, you know, and that's, yeah, my whole, because it's like, if we're living in a world where information is power and knowledge is key and all that jazz, it just doesn't feel fair for certain, and you're like, life's not fair, and I know life's not fair. You're you know, and that's the beauty of it too. I'm not saying it should be, man, again, I don't even know what I'm saying. I guess keep some secrets, but if it leaks, that's part of the game. That's part of the game. You can't, it's like liquids. Try to keep liquids intact in one place. It's gonna evaporate, it's gonna leak, it's gonna spill, it's gonna overflow, it's gonna get mold. It's what it is. We're a leaky bunch at the end of the day. We're about competition, steps, and leaking. If anything was learned here today, ladies and gentlemen, is that we all leak together. Let us take a moment to leak. Obviously, yes, there is, you know, but that's, yeah, we don't live in a world where we can, hopefully one day maybe we can, you know, learn to work better together, but like, man, it's Friday and we live in the right now, and for right now, be like, oh, keep it all friggin', like, you know, close to the chest. Is that what it is? We keep it close to the chest? Can I know certain things? Like, I'm not gonna Man, I would be so bad. I'm glad I didn't go into the, man, I would have been in a lot of trouble if I went into the army, dude. As much as I would have probably enjoyed the physical exertions, the group building exercises, the fucking polishing, spitting on shoes and polishing shoes and getting up early in the morning and having something to whatever that the army does with you, to you, together, you do to, whatever you put in is what you get, man. Whatever it is that you, point is, I think if I were like, unless I'm, yeah, if I had access to information, like, it's that top secret, that's just like it would have been leaked. Big time leaker, this guy, right here. Could not keep a secret when I was 21. Could I keep a secret now? Not really, it's just too much work. It's just too much work. If you told me something, would I be able to keep a secret? It's just so much easier to tell. It's just so much easier to tell. It's just like, if it's, God, like if I knew we're like, if I knew we're working on like cloning, for example, let's just say, and I'm not supposed to like talk about it. I talk about it, dude. I'm sorry, but I'm not like, it's we're cloning humans. If that was the case, is it the case? I'm just saying, you know, if it is, I'd want us to be like, let's all, like, if it's out there, first of all, we should have probably had some talks before it was out there, but if it is out there, man, because clones be like, don't even turn them on. I'll just have like, you know, it would be great to have them as a security measure in terms of like, you're out there living the best life. God forbid you should get into a situation or an accident of sorts where it's like, uh-oh, Spadudios, we're gonna have to, you know, this, you know, you wiped out, you friggin', you know, a bear just fucking clawed you, you got in a scuffle with a bunch of baboons, you got jumped by a gang of pelicans, fucking just a rowdy bunch too, just street pelicans. You don't want to, you know what it is. And then you got badly beaten up and bruised and damaged. You'd be like, you know what? Let's just upload this fella into the bot of the old clone or spare and just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna, you know, new bot, old looking bot, but like new old bot, new old new bot, new old. It's new, but still, like, if it looks like you in the moment, then it's a little bit old. It's not like you don't start from like baby. Maybe you could. See what I mean? If I had access to any of this information, it would be just out there. Because I'm like, we probably shouldn't. Or what do I know? Maybe we should. Maybe like maybe that's what it is. Maybe we'll advance thousands of years from now, millions, and maybe there are civilizations that have already done that in outer space, and they're looking at us cloneless, and they're looking at us and from above and like friggin' laughing at it. Like, look at these fools with no clones, or some of them, a very small portion of them have access to the clones, yet they're not letting the others know that there are clones. Man, that'd be wild. Please let me know if there are clones. I wouldn't even want one initially, but I'd just like to be like, I'd like to see one. I like to just, is it in a, how we're, because we do it to animals. We've done it to animals, and you bet your bottom, you think there's not a black site, a black operation with black money, not from the black community. That's what they call money. That's like, I don't even know what that means, but I've read it, and it's like, oh, you don't even know the things, or you don't even know what black money does. And initially I'm like, whoa, is this like, are we, but it's not, it has nothing to do with that. It means like, I think it means dirty money, or I guess dirtier money, because like money in general, like just like, if it's exchanging between hands, dirty. A lot of stuff gets, people are snorting coke in the bathrooms, using dollar bills and whatnot, and touching, just like putting a little bit of coke on a prostitute's asshole and then rolling the dollar bill and then touching, like one tip of the dollar bill's touching her asshole, the other tip is on your mouth, and you're not sucking on, you're snorting it through your nose. So I'm not a cokist. I'm not, so I wouldn't know, but that's the way they've displayed it in the movies and the pop cultures. So, and there you go. And it's unrolled 20 minutes later. It's being used to purchase a hot dog, and you got yourself some change back because you too happen to go to the same hot dog stand. Now you got a little bit of coke, a little bit of feces, a little bit of bodily fluids perhaps on that dollar bill, which is fine, which is part of life. That's the flavor of life, baby. A little bit of coke, a little bit of feces, and a little bit of bodily fluids. That's the essence of life right there. Put that in a petri dish and watch it grow. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that what were we even talking about? Hold on a second. I don't even know what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. To be very honest with you, I don't even know what I'm talking about. The point is that we never do. And that's one thing that I will guarantee. You can put your money on that shit. Oh, what were we talking about? Hold on a sec. We were talking about monies, leaky information, sidetracked here and there. Black money. That's right. Black money has nothing to do with my black brothers and sisters. It's got to do with, again, dirtier money, I would assume, because like money that's like not even like, you don't even know, dude. There's like, we can just print out money. That's called black money, I think. Money that's not accounted for and nobody knows about, because this department and this department and this department and this department, that's like a shell within a shell within a shell within a shell. That's like, at the end of the day, you think you're just walking into a friggin' custodian's closet or whatever, but it's not a custodian's closet. It's actually the entrance, because it's a fake door, and then you open that door. Sure, it looks like there's like a bucket and a broom and some liquids to be sprayed on top of things for sanitation and whatnot, but guess what? You just pull on a string or press a button and another door opens, and guess what? Now you're taking a cool old school elevator all the way down to the bottom of a shaft that's like hundreds, thousands of feet underground. We're stepping into some sort of a layer, because there's layers and steps to this shit. Whatever it is. That's how life goes, baby. And that's how life goes. Do I want to know? Yes. Does it feel like, do I want to feel like Diane Keaton before she knew? No. If we're being in a relationship, which we all are, public and the private, and the private knows so much about the public, how about we set up that two-way mirror so that we can all have a look through the looking glass or something. But at the same rate, yes, I do get it that there's other people. We got to keep the information tight, because we don't want them finding out whatever it is that we've got going on here, man. Because that'll be no bueno. But that is also the excuse used to point at people and be like, look at all these people being not so bueno for our society, and then they get cast away and punished, instead of being, not saying like, it's what it is that I'm feeling, like I said, again, I'm very much in the like, whoa, what's going on? I don't even know what the information was. I don't even think it's anything major, because if it was, I would have heard about it, or you would have heard about it by now, that, oh, this particular thing got leaked. It's just like, I think this is an excuse for, it's just one of those public reminders to be like, yo, remember that thing that happened several times before and happened again right now? An individual going in there by either accident or on purpose with varying degrees of knowledge to what they're doing, released or leaked some info, there's gonna be some consequences, man. Bring in the bring in the machine guns and the dogs that are just waiting to pounce on this young man's crotchal area. You think you can just turn around on your nation state country, son? Oh, there's gonna be some canines on your nutsack now, baby. And do we want to treat each other like that? Or do you wanna, do you wanna be like, hey, son, why don't you put out your hand there, and once he puts out his hand, you go out and just get a gunny bag and just it's filled with coke, and you're just emptying out loads of coke into his palm, and you're like, you see this canine right here? Why don't you go out and feed him a little bit of that blow right there? And it's just like, oh man, this is nice. This is team building exercises, and also just us, like, because there's a disconnect between different branches of private and public, and I say the more we engage with each other, the more coke is exchanged with different hands and fed to different animals for different purposes. Maybe don't give it to the animals. Maybe just empty out the bag of coke and just start tossing it around. Just, oh, we're all just having a ball here with all the whatever, or don't. So what is this situation? It's a case of the leakiness. Do we like leaky bums to go ahead and do the old rapperoo? Yes. Do we like leaky vages? Yes. Do we like leaky peens? Yes. Do we like leaky mouths? Yes. Do we like a whale that just squirts out water out of the old blowhole, leaking? Yes. Do we like to take a nap during a hot summer day and everything's oh so quiet, yet drip drip goes the sound of the water from the faucet into the sink, and it just happens to wake you up, and it's like, man, you're only supposed to sleep for 15 minutes. You fall asleep for like 2 hours. You're gonna be late for whatever. But at the end of the day, it's nice to take a nap. Ladies and gentlemen, where can you find these videos? Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. What did we learn today? I'm still trying to, figure it out myself. Where can you find these videos? Once again, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. On Instagram, follow me there if you like. Subscribe on YouTube, you beautiful son of a bitch and daughters of bitches. And also check out patreon.com/RobSadri if you like to fiscally, financially support the show. And again, we're here every week, talk about everything and nothing. Thank you for being a part of my life. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. And yeah, write a comment and at the bottom of the video if you think he's a traitor and he should be brought to justice with all the powers that justice has to offer. I'm talking again, dogs coked out of their mind, maybe with just a pinch of rabies, men in suits with guns. I'm talking years and years and years behind jail, in front of jail, behind bars, in front of bars, barbed wires, a moat, guards guarding guards, vicious inmates that he has to, or do we just be like, hey man, things be leaking sometimes, and that's just the way she flows. So I'll be back again here on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend, and yeah, we're all in this together, baby. Difference in it, like, my heart genuinely goes out to people who are like, oh man, how did I get in this situation? But like, we're in it together, baby boy, baby girls. Peace out.